Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Today's video, we have to have a chat. Look, you've made it this far. Your diamond hands have meant that you've kept hold of pretty much almost all of your crypto despite the massive correction that Bitcoin and the rest of the market took. But are you strong enough for what comes next? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and of course what the market is going to be doing next. We're going to explain why the actual community is so divided on what Bitcoin's next direction is going to be. On one hand, you have a lot of people that are saying, Bitcoin is going to go to 100 grand still, the bull run is still going, and of course myself and the rest of CryptoPig are part of that team. You also have established crypto Twitter individuals who are saying that Bitcoin is now in a bear market and welcome to the bear trend. We're going to talk about why I don't think we're quite there, and I'm going to explain what to look out for in the next few days. Because if we are going to be in a bear trend, it's going to be these crucial next few days for Bitcoin that will actually dictate which way the market goes. So I'm going to let you know what my targets are and what my expectations are for the market moving forward. First though, if you could do me a massive big favour and just like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course share this with your friends. YouTube are actively suppressing crypto content, so it's our job to get this stuff out to people out there, let them learn about crypto, let them learn about Bitcoin, and help also feed the algorithm and get people subscribing to my channel. Thank you. And of course I can't go any further without a quick warning. Always do your own research. Everything in my video is my opinion and not financial advice. So do maybe use the video as a starting point, but do your own research before you go buying any type of crypto or making any kind of trade. With that out of the way, let's get back to the video. So crypto's had a bit of a rough month, let's face it, it's not been particularly great. And it of course started off with Elon Musk tweeting about how much he realized and grew conscious about how much damage Bitcoin was apparently doing to the environment, which is actually a statistic that's actually fully incorrect. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is becoming greener and greener. Most miners are using renewable energy or hydroelectric, and those that aren't are the ones that are being kind of forced out of the market anyway, because at the end of the day, miners need cheap electricity, and it's the excess electricity and the renewable energy sources that actually provide the most competitive prices for a lot of miners anyway. Just one reason why Iceland is so incredibly popular with mining facilities. But let's be honest, it wasn't just Elon Musk. China's got in on the deal as well, and we saw lots of FUD coming out from China with new stories about China banning Bitcoin. Turns out that was a lot of rubbish. It was just a reiteration of pretty much the policies that have always been in place in China, but the media are going to run with it, and they like a bit of sensationalism, and unfortunately people decided to sell. But who was it who was selling? Because it wasn't the institutions. No, they have been buying up Bitcoin in massive quantities. In fact, on-chain data from Glassnode actually shows that whales accumulated another 122.5 thousand Bitcoins during the actual crash. And I shouldn't really even call it a crash, it was a correction at the end of the day. Yes, a pretty severe one, but we've looked at the on-chain data, and I'll put it on screen again here for you. You can see here that this indicator shows clearly that we are really at the beginning of the bull run. During the last bull run, we actually hit this 0.5 level on this indicator 4 times during the last bull run. This is the first time we've hit that level this time round. And that probably explains a lot about why the whales were continuing to buy up more Bitcoin. In fact, a recent survey by PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, found that out of the funds out there, the crypto funds, most of them, the majority of them, actually saw $100,000 as their target for Bitcoin this market cycle. These are the people that are going to be buying up Bitcoin during every single one of these dips. So who was actually selling? Well, unfortunately, it was normal people, retail investors who had got their stimulus checks in from the government not that long ago, decided they'd put some money into crypto. They saw Bitcoin's price starting to drop and decided that they would rather sell at a small loss than risk being at the bottom again, like people from the 2018 bull run. Except that wasn't the case, and of course we have seen a rebound already of the price. Yet data suggests that the market is still pretty much underwater, with a lot of holders now being at a loss, or at least on paper. So does that mean that we're going to see more sell-off? Well, hopefully not. I think enough time has gone past since that flash correction that most of the people holding on now have the diamond hands to continue holding. And that's my point in this video. You've made it this far. It would seem almost ridiculous to dump it at this last minute. And I do think we are going to see some more manipulation in the next few days to try and drive the price down further. The reason I say this is that JP Morgan have got their sort of shills out and about in the media talking again about how Bitcoin is overvalued. Now, they do this every time they want to buy more, people. It was just a few months ago that they were telling us that Bitcoin was still undervalued and it was around this same price. Now they're telling us it's overvalued, and that's because they realize that inflation is going up in the US. I think that inflation, I read a figure somewhere around 4%, with Max Kaiser actually saying that it's actually realistically much more like 10 to 15% inflation when you take into account a lot of the things going on in the market. That is a terrifying figure. People are kind of worried that the West is going to end up in a similar situation to Venezuela or Zimbabwe. And a lot of people say that's not possible. But when you think about the trillions of dollars of debt that America is in, the billions of pounds debt that Britain is in, the amount of debt is getting worse and people are not going back to work. We have got a serious problem going on. You don't need me to tell you this. Just go into a shop, try and get hold of certain items. You just can't buy them because guess what? People are not going into work and they're not making them anymore. There's money still to be had just staying at home. This, of course, isn't actually really surprising when you consider that here in the UK, the furlough scheme, which is basically paying people to stay at home if they're scared of COVID-19, has been extended until September the 30th. Despite the fact that this week they've had 2 days with at least 0 COVID deaths, and the people most at risk of catching COVID and dying from it have all been vaccinated here in the UK, people can still stay at home, sit and watch Netflix and not worry about paying their bills. To be honest, all this makes it pretty much a no-brainer that if you've got money that's spare, there's no point in being in a bank with inflation being the way it is, with interest rates being at minus point whatever it will be. You're not going to make any money on your savings. People are going to be sticking it into crypto, but they need the diamond hands because at the end of the day, the institutions want to buy up as much of it as they can because they know that this is going to be basically it's going to be the new gold. It's going to be the new reserve type currency because the dollar has inflated so much and it's losing its power. So of course, the institutions want to buy as much of it as they can because they need to keep control of the money in our systems. This is of course why governments are looking at central bank digital currencies. They're not looking at them because they're interested in the technology or that they think that the technology is somehow going to make money better. They're going to use it exactly the same as they do with money. They're going to be able to print and mint as many coins as they want. Nothing will fundamentally change other than the fact that they'll convince people that this is like Bitcoin and that they will have some control over it. Now, yes, it was people who had only recently bought Bitcoin that sold it. Interestingly enough, during the flash crash, along with all of those whales that bought up the largest portion of Bitcoin that was available, actually no coiners made up the rest of them. So people who had not bought any crypto before, they saw it as an opportunity to get in on crypto at reasonably lower prices. And obviously that means there's a lot of new hands in the space. And if you're one of them, please obviously make sure you subscribe to the channel. But also, you've got to learn about diamond hands. There are a lot of actors out there who want you to lose your money. And they're going to be pushing a narrative that means that the market will look like it's going to go to zero. It will not do that. So with that in mind, this is what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin over the next few days. As you can see, we have been ranging now for a good few days. When we did the live stream last week, I did say at that point there, we'd been in this downward channel. And then we broke out from the channel and I said we'd probably see a retest, maybe more ranging before we hopefully head back up to 50k. Instead, what's happened is that actually the ranging has continued and we have now starting to develop this symmetrical triangle pattern. Now, a symmetrical triangle is actually normally a continuation pattern. That does mean that if you were to look at this on the macro view, potentially more downside is on the horizon. However, on the same time frame, the 1 hour time frame, we obviously had that downward channel which we broke out from. That's a reversal pattern. So there is a conflict of patterns and signals there, and the triangle, symmetrical triangle, hasn't been the most reliable pattern out of all of the patterns that we have in this market. Unfortunately, 40k actually turned out to be too strong a resistance level. We actually attempted twice to break through that, and we couldn't do it. That being said, it's really important to point out here that we are finding really significant support here at around 34 grand. 34k is also on the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, so we are expecting to see support here. This will hopefully hold. What I am actually expecting is for us to now accumulate. A lot of people talked about the Wyckoff pattern. If we are in the Wyckoff pattern, it's quite possible that we're now sort of around the accumulation phase of that pattern. If we are seeing a breakdown from this triangle, and this is the beginning of it, then we could expect to see further losses, and I think that that would bring us down to 25k, which also lines up nicely with the 0.786 Fibonacci level. I'm not convinced that's the case right now. If you take a look at the volume has been pretty crappy. Lots of people are unsure whether to buy or sell right now, which is why I believe we're much more likely to see the accumulation phase kick in now. Hopefully, 34 grand will actually turn out to be our base support during this accumulation phase. And we'll probably see the price move up to around 42 at times. But I'm not expecting any big moves over the next couple of days. If we do see a big increase in volume, either direction, then we will see a proper breakout or breakdown. But I'm foreseeing now that we're going to range for at least a couple of weeks and maybe at most 1 or 2 months. I actually do think that we will hopefully see a breakout, but in order for that to happen, we're going to have the price break above $38,000. If we can do that successfully with enough volume, then the next target for us will actually be 50k. At that point there, I think we'll find resistance and range again before then attempting for 60. Now, it won't just be a straight line up to 50k. We do need to worry about that 42k level, because at $42,000, that would create a head and shoulders pattern on the macro view, as you could see. Resistance at that level will be a killer for Bitcoin, because a lot of traders are already feeling pretty bearish about the market. I'm not one of them, but if they think that they're seeing a head and shoulders pattern, they may try and dip out of the market at that point. So we are going to want to see a nice big chunk of volume. We're going to want to see it blast through 42k really quickly in order to stave off any big sell-offs from those bearish traders that we have in the market right now. On Twitter, however, I am seeing a very different attitude from a lot of the names that I respect and very good technical analysts as well, saying, oh no, the bear market's here. There is that indecision in the market right now, which means that the other option is that, in fact, what happens is we actually just continue to range. And there's no reason why that couldn't happen. Like I said, the whales want to keep accumulating Bitcoin. Perhaps this is a price level they will be happy with Bitcoin staying at. If we get past the next week and a bit and we're still ranging, then I think we are pretty much at the bottom. And at that point then, some point, once people have accumulated enough, we will see that pop back up. As I said to you, JP Morgan and all the others are out there still saying negative things about the price of Bitcoin because they want to buy more. Altcoins will start to actually regain some of those losses that they incurred, and that might be what leads to something like a altcoin summer for us. And then by the end of summer, Bitcoin will sort of kick back into life and Bitcoin will then head back up towards 60k. That might even be the better scenario for us because, altcoins, there's definitely a lot more gains that could be made there for newer entrants into the market. So, a lot of uncertainty to worry about, but I don't think that losing your money through Bitcoin and crypto is one of those uncertainties. At the end of the day, the dollar is looking very weak, and as a result of that, crypto is a long-term winner, and I am, of course, holding that long-term, so I am not panicked whatsoever. I just hope that anybody who's just bought Bitcoin and got into the space learns to develop those diamond hands themselves, because, like I said, there are very, very, very big institutions that are after your Bitcoin, after your money, and they're going to do everything they can to get it. So please don't fall for their tricks. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please do me a massive favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, of course, hit that notification bell to be kept up to date with all of our latest videos. As you know, it's not financial advice. Do your own research, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!